Welcome to Real Money Talks. Real strategies from the moneymakers and the world changers that you can use to make millions, keep those millions, multiply your wealth, and build your team. Here's your host, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View, Laurel Langmeyer.
Hey, this is Laurel. Welcome back to Laurel's Real Money Talks, a podcast where we talk just about that, money, how to make it, how to keep it, how to invest it, how to use a team, and put an integrated plan together. We have the entire team around us and experts that help. Today, we're going to talk about how you make money writing a book. I think everybody should have a book in this economy, in this time, in this era. I wouldn't have said that 10 years ago, but today, all business is done through this lovely thing called the internet, and a book is your brochure. So as small as a, 30, 40 pager to as big as my, big bestsellers at 250 to 300, you need a book. You have it, it's in your head. I always say your book is your brains on paper. Bring out your expertise and let the world see you. Today I'm going to say my favorite person in the world who will help you get your book done. Raymond Aaron's with me today. He and I have been friends for years, and consistently he executes on the book. I'll write your forward on the book, and together we'll help you launch the book and become a bestseller. So Raymond, welcome to Laurel's Real Money Talks.
Oh my gosh. I'm happy to be on your show. We have been friends for a long time.
Yep.
There's a lot of speakers on stage that you and I know, but there's not that many good people. And you're one of the good ones. And so I'm honored to do this podcast for you.
So talk about the book industry. Kind of give us kind of a 2023 is when people are hearing this podcast, and we have people from all over the world. What's the industry like? Why, you heard my setup. I think everyone needs one. I think you believe the same. But talk about the industry and how and why for them it's just so important for their brand. And even a beginner, just a beginner entrepreneur, I think needs something out on paper, and a book's the perfect way.
Here's the issue. In the olden days, pre-COVID, pre-lockdown, then things were, let's say, normal. So if somebody wanted to purchase something, whatever it is, a widget, they would just find someone who supplied the widget and they would buy it. Things were normal, but money tightened and people got more cautious, very, very much more cautious during this 3 years of the lockdown, because they saw gigantic corporations going bankrupt and they saw local restaurants going bankrupt, and people got frightened. They got really frightened when they saw friends of theirs losing their jobs. And so these days, the world has changed. You have to be known and trusted way, way more than pre-COVID in order to make sales these days and in order to have a flourishing business. And one way is to be wildly branded. And the number one way to get branded is by writing a book, which most people think they can't do. And they're right. They can't, because you don't know what you don't know. You think you just put your fingers on some keys and start typing. That's not how to write a book. So you can write a book. I have helped thousands of people over the last 12 years write a book, and every single one of them says, I didn't think I could. I tried for 10 or 20 years. I couldn't do it. I kept saying I have a book inside me, but I couldn't get it out. They kept blaming it on procrastination. They kept blaming it on writer's block. But all of that goes away when you're led by a master.
Well, and I mean, I'm talking to Raymond, I'm going to speak to people who are in real estate, construction, storage. Like I have a storage expert, and he's going to come your way. I'm not convincing him, but I'm telling him why writing a book would put him on the map, and then people will find him more. Like if he wants to find investors or locations for more storage. So, and I just share that one example, but I don't care if you're selling a CBD product, real estate, construction, asphalt. There's not a topic or an industry where somebody's a leading expert. And those of you listening, you need to be a leading expert and act as if you already are. And Raymond, let's talk about the book writing process. Like I'm a book talker. I don't type, I talk, have it transcribed, and then hand it to, amazing editors that Raymond has on his team to clean it all up. So talk about it's all doable and anyone can do it.
Well, let me start at the other end. I know you asked me to start at the beginning end, but let me start at the ending
Sure.
end. And
Perfect.
that is what happened to me when I wrote my first book. And it was You Can Make a Million in Canadian Real Estate. Yes, I'm a Canadian. And I brought the book to the interview with the loans officer, and I showed her the book and I autographed it to her, and she was happy. And then I gave her all my documents and she studied them. And at the end, she said, Yes, I will approve you. And I have to send it to the underwriter. But with my recommendation, I'm sure you'll get the loan. And then she said, You think that you either get a loan or don't get a loan. There's the, let's call it the black area where you could never get the loan. And then there's the bright area where you always get the loan. But there's this huge gray area in the middle where it's up to the loans officer. And she said, Do you know why I'm recommending you? Because you're in the gray area, so I can say yes or no. It's because you wrote a book. For gosh sakes, if you wrote a book on real estate, how come we turned down a mortgage loan for you? And that was the very first time that it actually happened to me. And it was a wonderful experience. But yes, you can enroll people in your network marketing program. You can enroll people in your coaching program. You can enroll people in your workshop. Whatever it is that you do, they salute you. They respect you. They are in awe of you. They look up to you when you have written a book. It's as if you won a Nobel Prize. It's as if you won an Olympic gold medal. It's just so startling. People are so amazed.
So once you did your book, talk about the process a little bit. I mean, because I think a lot of people out there, again, are stuck. They'll say, well, I've had writer's block, just as you said. I've wanted to write a book for 5 or 10 years. I'm like you. I think why you and I have become such good colleagues and friends is we actually believe in people. We believe in where they are. We're a lot like Bob Proctor. We meet them where they are. We take them where they need to go. And people need to write a book. And I want to make it, I think a lot of people look at my book history because mine have all been big, big, big bestsellers, not just in Amazon, but, New York's and Wall Street's. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about that.
No.
We're talking about like your book is a brochure for your company and your expertise. So just, I guess, speak more to them,
Yes.
Not really to convince them, but I want them to understand how critical this piece of 2023 for their business can be.
Okay.
When
so
they,
I'm going to say something that's not true.
Okay.
But it's real. And here it is. I hope that my clients never sell a single book and make a fortune. Now, it's not true. I want them to sell some books and I want them to be happy about the fact their book is selling. But you don't make money from the book sales. You don't. Let's say you make $10 profit on a book. You sell 1,000 books, $10,000. Okay, that's nice, but it's not going to make much of a difference in your life. But when you can sell a $10,000 retreat, when you can sell a $1,000 workshop, when you can get a $20,000 or $30,000 coaching gig, that's when it works. When you can enroll people in your network marketing program, when people want to vote for you, date you, marry you, follow you, that's where you make money, when they'll buy anything from you because they're so moved. So let me tell you the process. First of all, the wrong thing to do is to pull out a keyboard and start typing. That is so wrong. Your book will be all over the place. It won't be focused. It won't do you much good. The very first step is you must decide the purpose for the reader and this is what nobody does, the purpose for the author. Every time somebody comes up to me and says, gee, I've had writer's block for 20 years, I say, what's the purpose of the book for you? And they give me a blank face and say, in 20 years, I've never asked myself that. If you want to be on stages, if you want to get a big fee to be on stages, then you have to write the book in a certain way that the readers will say, gee, I should invite him on my stage. If you want to get coaching gigs, you have to write the book in such a way that the reader will say, gee, I should have that person as my coach. But if you don't do that step first, find out the purpose for the reader and the purpose for you, the whole book will be a waste. The next thing is you have to have a title and a subtitle, but most people have no idea what the purpose of those two. And so I'll tell you very clearly, the purpose of the title is to be catchy. The purpose of the subtitle is to be explanatory. So for example, our mutual dear friend, Jack Canfield, wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. Now it's catchy. When it first came out, no one knew what it meant, but it's really catchy. That did a great job. Then the subtitle was 101 True Brief Stories to Open Your Heart and Uplift Your Soul. So the subtitle was explanatory. Also, there's several rules, like you can't repeat a major word in the title and subtitle, otherwise it'll look like you're boring or repetitive. So for example, let's say a dentist wrote the book on dentistry, and then the subtitle is All You Need to Know About Dentistry. Well, if someone heard that, they would that's just what you did. You would laugh at such a person. So I have lots and lots of rules. When you follow my rules, everything goes well. Another thing that nobody ever thinks of, and I teach it in my program, is you must have an accompanying book website, that you refer people who are reading your book to the website so they can buy your stuff. And if you don't have anything to sell, then your book is a waste. Your book is simply a waste. If you just want to write a book to have a book, that's nice. But if it actually sells something for you automatically, if they go to your website because they want something that you are offering and they're eager for it, like let's say I wrote a book on yoga and I said in my book, do you know there's some thin yoga mats and some fat yoga mats and some that wear out quickly? I found a really nice yoga mat. And go to my accompanying book website and find out the link to get that yoga mat. Well, then I would simply call a yoga manufacturer that I like. I would get an affiliate deal with them, and I would get, say, $25 every time they bought a $100 yoga mat, and I would be getting several $100s a day, or $100 a day, or $5,000 a month from the affiliate link from that affiliate relationship that I had. So there's lots and lots of things to think about. You also have to have a great cover, and the cover has to have a starburst on it that says your website, because you don't want to have them buy your book and read through your book to find out what they can buy from you. You want it right on the cover, so even if they don't buy your book, they can still buy other products and services from you. I know the secrets of creating wealth from a
Your
book.
awesome secrets. So talk about the people who, because I hear this a lot, is when I build a database, because I'm a huge database builder. And those of you that are listening, if you want us to build the websites and get this ready and Raymond do your book and away we go, then go to Ask RMS for Ask Rapid Marketing Systems, askrms.com, and we'll do the technical backside. My point in leading up to that this question, Raymond, is a lot of people will say, well, I don't have a database. Now, I challenge everybody and I say, pick up your phone. How many contacts do you have? There's the first part of your database. Even though it might be a lot of friends and family, that's who you know, and you have their name, phone number, and email for, or at least you have their name and phone number. What do you sell those people to help them get over that hump of, well, I don't have a lot of people? And I know you do help people launch and you have a great database. I have a great database. But what about those people who say, oh, I don't have anybody following me?
Right. So here's the simple solution. And I've already actually announced it, but I didn't say it clearly enough. So thank you for having me go back. When you say something in your book that is compelling and they can get it at your accompanying book website, they will go to your book website. It might be called, let's say, laurelsbook.com or something like that. So they go there and they don't see what they want. They see a squeeze box, and squeeze box asks them for their name and their valid email address. And once they put that in, then they go through the gate and they get what they want. But you get a database. That's the whole point of it. A book will get you dozens, then hundreds, then thousands, maybe tens of thousands of names in your database automatically when you put compelling things in the website that you tell them about in the book. And so little guys get databases.
So talk about, are ads necessary? Let's kind of talk about the launch. So when the book's written, I'll do your forward if you want me to. I love that. I can also put you on my podcast if you are really up and running. Talk about some of the other, like once they're launching, what do they need to do to launch? Because I think a lot of people get scared of it and then they don't do anything, or they do it completely wrong.
Well, I want you to think, and when I say you, I'm talking to our listeners now. I
Correct.
want you to think, have you ever seen an ad pop up? You've
Mhm.
seen ads pop up all the time on Facebook, everywhere you go, ads pop up. And this guy's offering something, and this gal's offering something. But imagine if instead of her saying, buy my stuff, or I guarantee you this and this if you use my coaching service, imagine if she was holding up her book saying, I'm the author of this book. When you hear that, you automatically give her great credibility. You automatically are far more likely to click on her link and therefore far more likely to buy her stuff. That's what differentiates you. That's how you get started. You use your book in all of your ads, you use your book everywhere you go. When I'm on a large stage and there's a professional master of ceremonies, and they come up to me and they say, I've downloaded 2 pages of stuff of your bio from the web. I say, oh, please don't read that. They'll all fall asleep. And they say, okay, I'll make it brief. What's the title of your book? In other words, when they make it brief, all they want to know is what's the title of your book. That's what masters of ceremonies want to say about me when I'm on a huge stage. That's what blows people away. There's nothing you can say that's as amazing as the title of your book. Nobody cares. Nobody, well, I shouldn't say that, but they care how many millionaires Laurel makes because it's her brand. She's a millionaire maker. And they might say, well, that's good for some other people. Can she do it for me? But if she's written a book, then for sure she can do it for me. It's the book that clinches the deal. It's the book that'll get you the bigger database. It's the book that'll get people to sign on the dotted line. It's the book that does it. It's shocking. And these days, you need to stand out in order to succeed because people are more wary of their money.
And if you had to say, Raymond, that there's like the people who all go through your books, because what I know is that you're a big completer. Like they finish their books.
Oh, they do.
They do. They get them done. I've seen it.
They get their book done.
I've seen how you really complete. And I think that's critical for a lot of you to hear, because there are people who are going to charge you 10 times what Raymond charges, 4 times, 10 times, doesn't matter. And you'll be in their system for 18 months and still not have a darn book. So what are the keys between, and I'm going to do a distinction. They all have a book. What's the difference between those who actually make it, meaning their book gets sold, they actually have a good coaching program, they have a good dental practice, they use it for their business and win? What's the keys to between those people and those that just get a book and then sit there? You and I marketing, but I want you to give some distinctions to it.
Okay. First of all, I have 19 home study videos as part of my program. 16 of them are about writing your book. 3 of them are about making a great deal of money. Second thing is, when your book is finished, I don't just kiss you goodbye. I actually bring you up onto a stage in a hotel or by Zoom, your choice. I bring you up on a stage in front of lots of people, and I give you an official book launch, which is videotaped, which you can use on all your social media. In addition to that, I give you an award. Now, why would you want an award? So that for the rest of your life, you can call yourself an award-winning author. And every time I meet my clients, they run up to me and say, hi, Mr. Aaron, I'm an award-winning author. And I'm the one that gave them the award. I know that. But they're so proud. So in addition to saying I wrote a book, my clients can say, I'm the award-winning author of this published book. And so I give them lots and lots of dignity that they wouldn't get anywhere else. And I want to tell you an interesting thing. I was speaking to our mutual friend, Dr. John Gray, who of course wrote Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And I said to him, if you could change one thing in your illustrious life, what would you change? And he said, I'd rather have a book than a PhD. I said, John, you're known as Dr. John Gray. How can you give that up? He says, it's not of much value. Call up a radio station and say, I have a PhD. Do you want to interview me? No, thank you. But call them up and say, I wrote a book on men-women relationships. Would you like to interview me? Of course. But it doesn't have to be about relationships. It could be about retiring wealthy. It could be buying or selling a business. It could be buying real estate. It could be buying Bitcoin. It could be about Reiki or baking bread. I mean, whatever your shtick is, That's what you write about, and people will be dazzled. They'll want to buy from you.
What about social media? Talk a little bit about that, and then we kind of got to get to an end of a wrap up, but talk about social media as part of their launch strategy.
Everything you do is predicated on your book. You hold your book up beside you. You put your book in your email signature. You put your book on the banners for all of your social media. You need to be known by your book because people are blown away. You can walk up to an average middle income person, like someone who's earning, I don't know, $50,000 to $150,000 on a salary, and say to them, have you written a book? No. Do you know anyone who's written a book? No, they don't even know anyone like none of their friends or acquaintances or coworkers that have written a book. So when you say you've written a book, it startles them. That's why you have to put it on all your social media. They all allow a banner at the top. Put your picture on one side, put the picture of the cover on the other side, and you will get business. People will want to buy from you.
And Raymond, if they want to get a hold of you, do a book with you, how do they reach you? And I want to talk about, you have such a high touch, extraordinary system. So talk about how well kept they're going to be.
Okay, I'm going to do something very special for them. Instead of sending them to a link where they can maybe see a video of me and read some data, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give them an email address that goes directly to my chief financial officer, who will speak to them as long as they wish and answer all of their questions. And it's help@aaron.com. It's personally answered by my chief financial officer, and he will take good care of you. Just say that you were sent from Laurel, and he'll take extra good care of you for sure. Answer all of your questions. And if it's for you, you can register. If it's not for you, that's okay.
And last question, and you can expound on this a little bit. What homework would you give them today? Right? So they're interested, they're going to call, they're going to email help, they're going to have a conversation. What would be their first thing to start thinking about? This is totally old school and old fashioned, but what I tell them to do is go to a bookstore. You can still find a few that are open, and stand in the section that they want their book published. Self-help, it's either finance or personal finance, or is it management? Where's your book going to be? And like, I start that whole process of, really having them own the fact they're going to be on a shelf. It might be an Amazon shelf, but I love that visceral experience. What do you do?
My homework for them is, I want you to figure out the purpose for you. Do you want to get coaching gigs? Do you want to enroll people into your paid workshop? Do you want them to join your network marketing program? What is it that you want them to do? How do you want them to buy from you? What is it that you have that you want them to buy? What physical product that you have that you want to sell? And as soon as you're clear on that, get ready for lots more sales.
Awesome. Raymond, thank you for joining us. For those of you who are serious, go to help@Aaron, that's AARON, correct?
.com.
And have a talk, figure it out. I think you all know, if you say I can't afford it, we can help you get funding. Not difficult, and it is I could just tell you the value of what you charge versus how you produce. It's world class. So those of you who are serious, go do that. If you want us to build the whole site behind and do your database, you can come back to us at askrms.com. Let's make 2023 the best. I had a huge book launch last year, and it changed our business. And every time you put out a new book, it changes your business. The one thing I will say also to all of you, you do have, I would say God gave you an amazing gift and talent. Use it. Bring it out to the world instead of, the typical, well, people know what I do. They'll call me if they're interested. That's not going to work. Not in this day, not in this competition era, not in this kind of economy. So go join Raymond and let him get your book out.
Laurel, it's always a joy to talk with you.
You too.
Appreciate
you. We'll be back next week on another episode of Laurel's Real Money Talks. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Real Money Talks podcast. Your host has been Laurel Langmeyer, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View. Want to learn more about off-Wall Street investing, tax strategies, and multi-million-dollar business strategies? Visit liveoutloud.com/podcast for past episodes, show notes, and resources. For some special wealth-building gifts only for Laurel's podcast listeners, visit liveoutloud.com/podcast gifts. Do you have a burning question for Laurel? Visit asklaurel.com to submit your question, and it may just be covered on a podcast episode. So stay tuned and be sure to subscribe to get new episodes every week.